Corsair, Hacks, and GG Bet.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Tour France, where we have another wonderful DreamHack Open going on, and we've had one match transpire so far where we saw Gambit take out their opponents in the form of Torques. It was close, it went to 2 overtimes, and so things are already at a very exciting pace. And up next we will have a barn burner as well. It's North versus Imperial. My name is Parla and I am your host for this event, and I'm joined by Blair and Natu, who will be helping all of us understand exactly what's going on. And maybe you can straight away react to what I've just said. I feel like there is a parallel between North and Imperial and Gambit and Torques. It's kind of like an underdog and an overdog, but there's that chance of an upset, potentially.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
It's happened before.
I mean, let's face the facts and stop lying to ourselves. North is in a horrible situation right now. They are playing dreadfully, and I feel like, you know, it's a case where they've put themselves mentally in a position where it's very hard to get out of. I mean, obviously they have coaching staff of Ave, you know, used to be a champion in 1.6, they have Wimp behind them as well.
You saw the
in
interview,
the same
right?
team. Huh?
The interview with Wimp as well. He did mention all these things.
Yeah, so I didn't actually say that. This is just me looking
okay.
in as an ex-player, understanding what's going on in the team without really knowing it, obviously, because we were not in the team, were we? But yeah, no,
you
it
could
feels
be
to
not
me.
to, if you wanted to. One more year. One more year.
Let's not go there, shall we? But no, really, I feel like they're a team that's struggling. They need to get positive results, you know, one of these days to get that wave going in the right direction.
Let's take a look at Group B, the group that these two teams are in, so we can get an overall picture of what is going on. And so, yeah, we are starting off Group B with North versus Imperial, what we are about to see. And then on the other side of that bracket, we have the Razors of Hell and those that are Envy. They will be squaring off later today. So would you say Group B is a tougher group compared to Group A? I'd say we're relatively even across the two.
Yeah, it is pretty even, because we did expect the first match between Torques and Gambit to be much more easier affair for Gambit, right? But we saw the result like going to double overtime, so I think it's pretty fair. Well, just looking at Group B, I'm just going to say it out. I think it's going to be North and Hellraisers facing off in the upper bracket, deciders matchup. So it should still be a pretty clean game, but like Natu said, you know, North, they need to go above and beyond. The last time these two teams faced off against each other in Copenhagen Games, Imperial, they managed to pull off a 2-0 win. So that's
exactly
that happened.
Yeah, there's an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
It's the North's form.
Yeah, and if their form isn't fantastic, maybe they can alleviate the issues from that slightly by having a good veto. Let's talk about maps. Which do you think could favour them?
I mean, again, in a best-of-1 situation, it's always going to end up in a middle ground situation. So you're looking at maps like something like Inferno could be in the ballpark of it. Obviously, Nuke is not going to be in the play because that's a North map, and Imperial doesn't even play it. So if I had to make a guess, I'd say Inferno would be fairly high up there.
I think Inferno would be banned out early on by North, because they've not really been comfortable on it, right? So they do have
what have they been comfortable on? Would you elaborate, please?
What have they been comfortable on?
Would you please tell me what have they been comfortable on?
Hey, you know what? I just want to see Dust2 come out here, right? I want to see Imperial.
That'd be great.
That'd be amazing, and I think Imperial would have a really good, solid chance.
Just by the way, guys, whilst you're continuing, you can, of course, segue into the specific vetoes that have already transpired, if you'd like.
Didn't come that early, did it?
Inferno getting banned. Oh, yes! Yes! Yes.
And guess what, guys? We're going to the shooting range. Dust2 will be the map played between North
gonna be amazing.
and Imperial. Yeah. Any surprises there, Natu?
A little surprising, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if it mattered the fact that Imperial did beat North in the semifinals of Copenhagen Games, so you'd be like, all right, this should be like a close affair in that sense, but still, if you look at the big picture, you kind of can steer away from the fact that North is still considered one of the bigger teams, so to speak, and Imperial is an up-and-coming team, right? So for a team like North to actually opt to go into Dust2, it's already a sign of weakness to me.
Yeah.
Mental weakness.
Well, guys, Blair, and maybe we can focus specifically on North because I know they are ready on stage, and we can take a look at some of their stats. And if there are any players you'd like to pick out, maybe Bola on the end there, aka AZ.
I think AZ has been phenomenal so far, right? He's been the one shining light in the pit of darkness that has been Northold as well. We saw Kirby have some performances in Betstats Masters. Volta's always been a solid rock as well, but you know, AZ, despite all the flack being thrown at him in the past quite a number of months, I think he's just come into his own. He's doing a great job overall.
Yeah, there's certainly a hive mind when it comes to criticizing players and following the pack mentality. He's still 100%, I think, a player with a lot still left in the tank, and of course a skill ceiling which maybe he's not hit for a while, but it's still there, Natu.
Yeah, also I think it's a player that I'm really looking forward to really break through its merge. I mean, they already brought him up from the academy team, high expectations coming into it.
He was in the academy, and did he go straight into North, or did he go to Optic for a bit in that international lineup, or was that someone else?
What are you smoking?
I think I'm confusing him with another Danish player, but yeah, he's one of the younger players that's kind of come
Optic is full of Danish players right now, mate.
Yes, but then beforehand when it was
There's Magic's boy, then he moved to Strong.
Let's start with M.
Beforehand when it was an NA team mixed with some other players.
And there's another M with MSL.
MSL.
The captain of this team, often criticized. I think he's obviously... I mean, he's having a rough time, as is everyone on the team, and he's the one that needs to be finding those right pieces to the puzzle together with his coaching staff, and it's not always, you know, that straightforward because, like we said, the mentality, the kind of comfort zone comes into the play as well.
Yeah.
Because you're not going into even like the basic part of Counter-Strike is to be able to go into duels feeling comfortable. If you're not even having that, then it's a bit of a lost cause to even have it and get a planet around.
The thing is, on paper, this team has so much potential. We've seen the players individually reach them at times. Like we've got AZ who can, on his best days, destroy an entire server. Same goes for Valda. And then, of course, Kierby, who came from Astralis and then joined these guys, another young gun. And they're led by MSL, a veteran of the game. And then they also have some more new blood in the form of Mercs. But things just haven't clicked yet. Do you think this is a very important tournament for them to place well in? And if they don't, there could be even more changes that need to be made.
I mean, if you look at the interview with Wimp, right, he did mention, I think it was HLTV, they asked him, like, are you guys looking for any lineup changes, you know, if things don't click? And it's like, no, we're not going to be looking for any lineup changes in the near future. But then again, that's what every team says before a lineup shuffle does happen. But I think it's not about, you know, lineup changes as such. If you look at the last few events, Copenhagen Games, they were a shoe-in to win that event, right? They got knocked out by Imperial. The second against Betstats Masters, they were showing something. They were showing some form. But then again, against a weaker opposition compared to what we're seeing today over here, we had like Fragsters, impressive up-and-coming team from Denmark, but still, you know, they're not exactly a tier 1 team, right?
Yeah. Let's turn our attention now, guys, to
quickly,
Imperial.
I mean,
on screen, but please do finish
yes,
your point
I'll just quickly point out, I mean, the fact of the matter is that North has recently lost to Ego, Alternate Attacks, and Space Soldiers in rather convincing fashion too.
Online.
Sure.
Still
Counter-Strike.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm just pointing that out. They haven't really done anything on LAN either, so that's out the window. But here we have Imperial, obviously, a lineup full of names that not everyone's all, you know, familiar with, and up-and-coming players coming up. I mean, Tensky is someone that played for Dignitas
Tensky,
at
Crystal,
one point in time.
Esperanto.
And Crystal, obviously, you know, he's been to the major a couple times now.
Yeah.
Just most recently was last year with Penta in a lineup that was actually quite promising in my opinion. They had some really, really good individual players in that team, but they just didn't manage to make it into Legends, obviously. And then that team ended up breaking apart. He moved on to Sprout, a new...
He's still wearing a Sprout shirt, by the way.
Yes, he is apparently still sprouting.
Still sprouting. I like that. Well, hopefully he can finish his sproutation and become a flower.
Yeah.
So
a pretty flower at that.
Yeah, talking about the names on the team that are lesser known or young up-and-coming players, Nukyi is one of them, and then is it Esperanto?
Esperanto,
as
yeah.
well.
Esperanto.
Nexa in his own context is also relatively new.
I mean, he played for...
Yeah, but he has had some decent showing so far and proved that he can play to a level at LAN.
Yeah, he played for Renegades.
Yes,
for
exactly. He was on that Renegades team where it was the mix of NA, Australia, and himself.
In Serbia.
Yes.
That was an
with a Serbian coach as well, Kasad.
Yes.
Who is no longer coaching Renegades, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at Imperial, right, the big elephant in the room, to repeat that phrase twice, would be the fact that Crystal is going to be standing as an in-game leader. They have lost a Cillian, under whom they won Copenhagen Games. And the fact is, Crystal has only played one best 3 with them online. That's it. That's the only experience to have, especially for an in-game leader to be changed up. So that's a big question mark. They've looked pretty okay online, but they had Zayu standing in for them for a lot of their games. So I don't really know how their form is right now coming to this game. They're a big question mark. They have proven that they can take down some big names. But in this event, I don't know. I'm not too sure about this.
But given that Crystal has a lot of high-level experience, do you think that he's going to be relatively unfazed, and maybe the issue will be mainly to do with how he fits into the team and specific strat sort of things?
I feel like it's more on a social level, like what kind of a leader is he? If he manages to kind of calm people down and make sure that the mood is mellow as they go through thick and thin in different situations, it could definitely actually be a good thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything's just going to go haywire and you're going to have to relearn every single bit of Counter-Strike as a unit. So obviously we don't really have a sample size to talk about, so we're just going to have to kind of wait and see.
Don't forget, everybody at home, you can vote for which team you think is going to win or would like to win with exclamation mark, followed by NOR or IMP, IMP, for either of our teams. And you can also see on screen now our odds live from GG Bet. Imperial are the underdogs and North are the favourites. Do you think those are fair? Do you think that's an accurate representation in terms of who's likely to win here?
I mean, when it comes to odds, I mean, obviously Imperial having a, we don't know, is it stand-in, is it a new player, what is it with Crystal, and that being the in-game leader as well, obviously that's gonna sway the odds quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely, but the thing is, the big question mark over here is a map pick, right? Dust 2. Just going to go back to that again. The fact that North allowed that map through, just like you mentioned, Nat, we said it was a mental weakness over that. I completely agree. Like, you have a leader at MSL, a team that's been playing together for a while. You have a very deep tactical book, right, to work with. There's so many other maps in this game. Like, you could go for Overpass. Sure, it might be being banned out by Imperial, but I'd rather them even go for a map like Cash, which is a little bit more puggy map, rather than go for Dust 2, which is complete, like, it's a big question mark. We don't know how it's going to work out. So going to this matchup, I really was favoring North. But looking at Dust 2, I think Imperial do stand a pretty solid chance. They can catch North off guard. Yeah,
I can see a world where this just starts spiraling the wrong way, and things are going to get super tough for North.
Well, Natu, maybe you can give me 3 reasons brought to us by Hacks on why you think a particular team is going to fare well in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball in here and say 3 reasons why Imperial is going to win this game, and more in the context of how is it going to be possible. The first one obviously has to be the fact that they've already beaten North. They beat them at the CPA Copenhagen Games. It's been a while. Obviously, there's been changes. There's caveats in the play, but also means that individually speaking, none of these players are going to be faced by the North players, even though they are this big brand. You know, they're a team that's been up there. They're still going to be. I feel like they're going to be playing up to their potential. I think that could definitely be a difference-making factor. Second of all, North could be overthinking. They're in a situation, like we mentioned, very, very bad mental state right now. They're not playing up to anywhere near to what they're capable of as individually. So I can definitely see a world where they're just going to end up in this spiral of play, making a bit of bad plays. Maybe timing's a little bit off, and then they'll lose that round. That will make a massive difference in the whole big picture of the game. And then obviously Imperial, they could be going into it with a very, very loose attitude, considering the fact that they do have a new in-game leader, and they probably know that this is going to be an uphill battle in that sense the whole tournament. So if they get that loose attitude in just to the right notch, I feel like it can definitely be a difference maker.
True, I completely agree with that. And the only thing I would add to those 3 reasons would be the fact that Dust 2 being picked really would be the 4th reason now, right? Like, that's something that would definitely be favoring Imperial. It's ironic. It's really ironic that the fact that North is such an established organization with players of so much of caliber, they seem to be kind of shaky mentally compared to the way North Imperial playing. They have nothing to lose, right? They have everything to prove over here. So, yeah, it's... I don't know about this now. Yeah. I mean, I was going with North initially, but...
Okay, well, I must tell you, Blair, you have to decide right now, because it's time for predictions.
I'm going to still stick with North for this.
Okay.
I think they have the experience to, it's a best of one. Anything could happen, but I think North are going to somehow claw their way into this.
And
into a win.
Natu, what about yourself?
I mean, I wouldn't have a spine unless I said Imperial's going to win this after what I just went through.
You do have a spine, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm being told by my producer that I must also make a prediction, and this one is a tough one. I was hoping not to have to get involved, but I have to go with North, considering the caliber of players on the team, like Blair mentioned, and also because I'm biased to my friend AZ.
Yeah, I was going to say. Such a fanboy.
Anyway, our casters are ready. Some of my other friends here at the event. It's Mr. Conor Gervin, also known as Gerbini. No, I'm kidding, it's Scrawny. And his friend in arms, Hugo Byron, also known as Hugo.
Hello.
Hello? Hello? Guys, just there's a slight issue here. I think we're...
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I was thinking, do I have to learn sign language really quickly,
going quick,
right?
man. I was getting ready. Excuse me if I insulted anybody. I don't know I don't know what I said, but what I'm excited for is this next matchup. I do think that if there was any upset potential with Torque versus Gambit, that you could argue maybe that upset potential is more so here with this matchup.
Yeah.
To me, Dust 2 is such a weird place to end up. I mean, we've seen nothing from North on Dust 2. We've seen Imperial play it once versus an online team of unknowns, right? And lose.
With their
with the coach standing in.
Right?
It's such an unknown entity for us to wind up on Dust 2. But I mean, it does make it quite curious, right? I do think that obviously you can just go blow for blow on Dust 2. That's what it's known for. And when you look at North, they do have this kind of like star-studded lineup. It's a matter of obviously everyone performing, but I remember Mertz back before he was even picked up on North Academy, right? He would just tear people apart in the Mountain Dew League, specifically on Dust 2. He's a killer when it comes to the mid-cross. Beautiful peaks out long A as well, and then just kind of using that range advantage over towards the A site. So I really want to see Mert step up, because if we go back to what has been the best LAN performance from North as of late, it would have been the Betsnet Finals versus Hellraisers. And in that series, Mertz was connecting shots time and time again. And then, again, that's just putting emphasis on Mertz, let alone the rest of a very, very talented lineup.
Yeah, but I do have to echo what was said on the desk. If you go on the flip side to Imperial here, of course the IGL standing is going to be a bit of a problem, but loose style, Dust 2, I mean, these things go hand in hand. So yeah, okay, you may have Crystal, you may not have practiced too much with him, but in terms of setups, this map is as old as it comes. Everyone knows what they're doing on Dust 2. It's far more easy to pug than that of a train or an overpass, where you're going to need good CT setups. You're going to need to know your team enough to play these rotations well. Dust is, the most basic you can get, I think, and I think that's going to favor Imperial in some sense. But I definitely want to keep an eye out on these AWPs, and Mertz definitely being one of those two players. Of course, up against Nuki of the side of Imperial. He has actually been a very strong addition to this lineup. I've been really excited to see the young Lithuanian player actually have a lot of success recently.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Imperial, right, is that there is young talent here, and it's whether or not it can perform on a stage this size.
Yeah.
We saw this matchup happen at Copenhagen Games, and we saw the upset, occur here thanks to Imperial, but I feel like we're kind of in the comfort zone now of North, right? These are the sorts of events, these are the sorts of stages that they like to play on. This is a big showing for Imperial. Remember, this isn't even the qualified team for the event. This is an invitee. They were given a chance after coming second to AGO in the European qualifier, and now they find themselves on Dust 2 versus North, starting on the T side, and already they start to head out towards Long A. 4 players, and it's that cat push from the CTs, but good night.
And that's the bomb. I mean, you couldn't give more info away with the setup if you tried. Imperial giving North a great advantage here as MSL taps down again, looking for more. Teammate out with the peek, and AZ's going to find the second frag. More coming out from AZ as well, as North are going to just find an instant 3-man advantage, and with that they will converge. They will begin to assimilate on long, looking to get aggressive as Tensky's forced back with a Glock. He won't be able to land a shot. Only 1 kill before he's dead, and while Nexa has the flank, he's stuck in a 1v4.
Yeah, unfortunately the distraction's over. Now he is the entirety of what remains. And while he does find Mertz on the back end of things, he now needs to find a way to crack open this setup. It is dire straits ahead. It's a long straight ahead if he were to go as quick as could be, but instead he'll wrap around. This will give him a closer range of engagement. Of course, he's wary of his flank, has no clue where these players could be exactly, and in fact, they are just sitting on the bomb. They have no reason not to. Play a 3v1 advantage, everybody still has good health. In fact, Nexa, the most damaged of all. he's certainly doomed in this situation.
Yeah, and it's all down to that bomb drop, right? If the bomb doesn't drop instantly in the long area, North don't fully rotate, and therefore they may not have this triple stack towards long. They may have a lurking player, a B rotator who came in late through mid, giving Nexa an opportunity for a pick. But now they've heard him. He's got to take this fight here. The time is ticking, and Valde's going to find this shot. So North kicking off with the pistol round, but I can't say that's not down to just a massive mistake made by the T side.
Yeah, I mean, bomb leading, right? Bomb leading and then a shutdown. And then what's even worse is there's that moment of hesitation. Like, the rest of the terrorists continue to commit on the long peak, but they gave that 5-second buffer where, of course, MSL is reinforced with 2 additional players. So we got a piece together buy here from Imperial, a Tech 9 of all guns.
We saw one last map as well.
My goodness.
What year is it?
It has been a while, old friend, but Nexa will try his best with it. 3 sets of Kevlar. A little collection of utility for them to play with as well, and they do get themselves closer to the defense here inside of middle. AZ priming that MP9, looking to rip flesh from bone. And with the flashbang over, he gives up his sight. Now they start to spot this, and so the fight unfolds. AZ fading away, frag grenades going back, and Kierby to be tested towards Cat, but he only gets 1.
Shouldn't be too much of an issue though. North did have the control towards minimal with that Tech 9 coming through. Nexa shows that maybe it's still worth it. Double kill as he drops Valde, and weapons yet to be retrieved here from Imperial. That nade will even almost finish off the job. MSL looks to do exactly that though, with Nexa stuck. 2 points of health in the bomb inside of the B site. Nexa tries to catch this rotate, but the flash actually blinds everyone here. MSL still trying to find the angle to push through the CT spawn. Mertz is blind, and Nexa's found 3 with the Tech 9. I've never seen this gun be so successful. The trade back, though, from MSL puts us in the 1v1, and Esperanto up in the window as MSL looks to close the distance.
That's exactly it. It's a Deagle v UMP. MSL, with his last piece of utility, chucks it in to clear the box. He's peeked, he's down. Esperanto to the clutch, and Nexa with one hell of a 3K thanks to a Tech 9 of all things.
Yeah, maybe we're going to see a little bit more of that this game. I'm certainly on board for that, if it's going to work.
I mean, the last time I saw the Tech 9 be used, it was when Dust 2 was in the map pool, right?
Yeah.
So we've gone full circle, we've come back, and great flashbangs here, right? Obviously, Mertz is fully blind, and there was an instance whereby MSL was blinded by a teammate's flash as well. So those 2 flashbangs kind of make a very awkward situation for North to try and handle. And all of a sudden, how the tables have turned. 3 AKs double ump, plenty of grenades, and really just this scout for North to try and disrupt with. Patient play from Imperial. They'll still creep their way towards the bottom of middle, but nobody necessarily looking for duels just yet. With the scout firing off, they're aware of its presence and position. What can they do about it?
Flashing forces them off the angle, and that gives the opportunity for Imperial to strike. Esperanto opening up, but it's Mertz with the Deagle, one of his 2 signature weapons responding. Still with aggression from MSL, though up on short. It might result in a little bit here, but he only gets 1. Dink onto the second, but low on ammo means he has to get the reload in, and that leaves it in a 2-on-1. They spot Valde, they tag him. And now Imperial, surely with the round under control. Crystal's in the site with the bomb as well. And Nex is still locking down this rotate. If Valde wants to try and grab a gun coming through the tunnels, he might go down. But instead, Crystal gets the plant on A. And Valde, he's just going to tuck tail and run. Imperial managing to double down. There are certainly some costly fights there as they lose 3 players, but it will be their round, it seems.
Good upset attempt there from North. Certainly dishing the damage back, but obviously not doing to Imperial what was done to them. So the converted round from the T side. There is life in this lineup, Hugo. Again, and this boils down to like Dust 2. What an unknown quantity. What a weird position for North to be in. Like maybe they've had some preparation as of late. But to showcase Dust 2 in the BO1 versus a potential upset, that's just scary. It is a very scary decision. We'll see if it comes back to bite them, but we've got some time before that starts to boil. It's still brews.
Especially when we're on a map that just credits individual performance, and of course, not to say that North don't have stars, like that's a fact, right?
Yeah.
But so do Imperial. Imperial have made the rise, not due to deep tactics, but due to their individual performance, due to players like Nexa finding his form in this team, Nuki destroying with the AWP, and Esperanto just being the consistent benchmark of this team.
Yeah. I mean, even Tensky needs to be noted, right? There was times where he was back with Rogue where he would have big impact. So there are heavy hitters here for Imperial. There's no arguing that. Esperanto even has been turning many heads in FPL. I mean, we go back to, again, Copenhagen Games. It was Esperanto just walking into bomb sites, bullying teams, and not of a lesser caliber. Literally, North.
Yeah.
Like, they beat them in a semifinals, so that's got to be hot on their minds. The grudge match in full effect here. Maybe not full effect, not yet. We'll wait until we've got some guns for North to work with. Versus the weapons of Imperial, they're still making do. The USP of AZ floating around the catwalk. The initial trade frag, of course, gave them tunnel control, and now Kierby's going to start to clear this out, but Nexa lingers on. And the bomb, well, it's worked its way towards A. They punish the flank, they find their kills, and they push it dish down to Mertz.
And Yuki's just been doing a really good job of locking down middle. He's not been committing to the sites, but while he's just sitting at the top of middle and locking down the rotates from A to B, killing the mid guys, North aren't able to leave these bomb sites. Mertz now trying to hold on to the AK-47, and Yuki just has the information. Imperial are safe on A because they know that no one can cross. They know that they can't be retaken against. Mertz tries to save this gun for the future, but Imperial not satisfied. Still going to start to look for a bit of a kill here as they chase through the CT spawn. Crystal may just miss the timing. Mertz is staying in the B site, and it seems like he will get away with his gun as well. So, 3-1 lead now to Imperial. They take the advantage by 2, and North can come back in with a buy here. We may even see a potential AWP, but it would be without armor if Mertz were to purchase it.
Yuki just using that scout, staying mobile, flashing himself in, and nicely done. Able to deal with that threat towards Cat on his own. Smoke down, 2 across. Nuki keeps his eyes up, and Nexa is looking for a duel out here towards Long. Now, the smokes are already down. That is a T-sided smoke, which gives him some space to work, but MSL won't clear the smoke just yet. He's caught by Nexa, who doubles down to the skull of Kierby. Now, there is a third defender in a bit of a tricky spot. Mertz pinned behind the car. He knows he's susceptible to the cat push, but it's halted here, Hugo. They've stopped.
No need to go on just yet. Allow North to make those rotations. Again, with that earlier scout play in middle, they actually spotted a bit of the move, but North are actually shifting back into their initial setup. 1B, 1 mid, 1A. Very separated here, which is dangerous, of course. It just relies on individual prowess. This AWP on the A site could be exactly what North need to win the round if Imperial do commit towards Long. For the time being, they just hold their ground. North giving up A and playing for the retake towards that side of the map as they stack 2 in middle. Going to be spotted. Mertz dead. That's the Opera move now for North. Crystal finding a quick headshot, and Imperial now knowing one of the A players dead, expecting Mertz to be that exact man. They can walk their way up Long. AZ begins to move back into position, but still Valde's committed to B right now. And with Tensky sliding in through the middle, this gained map control could put Imperial in a very good spot. Tensky trying to catch the frag, and he does take down Valde, leaving AZ in the smoke, getting shot in the leg, and Crystal will clean up the job. It's Imperial with a 4-1 lead, Conor, and saving the AWP as well.
That's big. It's a lot of momentum to start this game. Now North not only having to regain composure and some kind of footing here versus what has been a steamrolling T-side, but it's a steamrolling and wealthy T-side at that. They've got the cash. Luckily there for Nexa, of course. MSL is distracted with the other players coming in through door, because had he been taken down, then that 2K never happens. He doesn't get the element of surprise, which facilitates his entries. CZs, P250, that's all they have to work with here. North at a massive disadvantage. Still a bit of positioning towards the B site, and a trade frag. Volta connects to the head of Tensky. Now it is Nuki next, but he's able to trade one back. Esperanto grabs the bomb. They're going to commit into the B site, and they already have this layer of a hold on mid-cross. Although that player's going to get pressured. Crystal, he's got to be wary of the catwalk, but in the meantime, he's dealing significant damage here. Everybody's hurt, and the cleanup comes in from Long. Nexa denied. Mertz hitting a zinger of a headshot, and a second AK picked up. This is the save.
Yeah, you cut your losses and run here. North have 20 HP on either player. There's no reason to try and commit to this retake. Even though you get a bit of a foot in the door, you're just not well equipped enough to go for it. And with the bomb down prior in the round and no kit on this CT side, it will just be guns held on. I like the save position, though, there in the T-spawn from Kierby. Means he can catch out players who move towards the tunnels if they do want to exit, but Imperial instead maybe looking into the middle. They grab the AWP, making sure they have everything they need, flash towards mid, and yeah, save on car here. So they won't lose any guns, it seems. Imperial going forward with another round, but good damage from North considering the limitations in that one. And now definitely with a double save, they'll be able to buy up further and get that AWP into the hands of Mertz, which again is something we're suspecting needs to come into play, needs to be of big impact, because without Mertz hitting his shots on the AWP, North may crumble.
At what point does North start having flashbacks, Hugo?
Oh, yeah.
An embarrassing defeat to Imperial already in the record books of 2018.
On home soil.
Yeah, true, right? As clear favorites at Copenhagen Games as well, right? They were one of the announced invitees. Hyped and falling flat. But obviously there's still so much time to recompose themselves, and they are dealing with the T side of Dust 2, which, considering the changes which happened to Dust 2, near nothing, is still pretty par for the course, right? We saw Torque turn things around at the very, very end of their half. There's no reason North can't do the same. It's for that reason here we've got a pause, and we're back into the action. Double up setup between Mertz and AZ. No cross on mid. They try to duel versus the pick, and Nuki actually picks up Mertz. He wins the duel, and AZ can't trade. Now it's going to be that fast push into the B site because it was a stagnant cross. They were slow, and they're being punished for it. They've already lost control of the site. But Volta, well, he's going to try as he might to get into this gunfight. AZ even able to find an angle and drop one.
Esperanto, though, just holding on to the site. Imperial do have control, but they need to get more frags before the bomb goes down, and that's all you need. Esperanto with a double kill, wall banging out MSL and dropping the AWP in the window. That will surely be the round unless Kierby has something to say for it, but sneaking into the AWP, it's never going to work out. Excellent work from the two Lithuanians on the side of Imperial. And what a fantastic lockdown of mid. Nuki not only hits a shot, but ducks below the second AWPer.
Yep, absolutely. Gets himself out of danger's way. And that's just right there a great translation from what is early B tunnels presence, right? If you're throwing people into lower tunnels, if that's one of the go-to pieces of your puzzle, which it has been for this T side, well, if you see a slow mid-cross, or if you're able to get a pick, then that B site is open for the taking. And sure enough, they just commit. They go charging in, and they take it with relative ease. Of course, Esperanto definitely bails them out there because North, despite not having the footing on the bomb site, were trying to engage hand-to-hand. They got up close. They didn't get much more than 1 or 2 kills.
North clearly citing problems so early into this game on their second tactical pause, only, 7 rounds in? This is a worrying sign so far, but they do have a buy ahead of them. Again, the double up in and no tag across the mid smoke as they do try and just safely cross, not wanting to challenge Nuki. Imperial, again, playing off spawn. It seems like wherever they get the best spawns, they just commit to an initial fight. Whether that be B or long, it seems to be the latter this time, with 3 players taking control. North give up A long and instead pile up with 3 players on the short side, but Nuki's still got that lockdown of middle. Sight towards the rotation off of B and also the aggression on short. North are kind of pinned into this one. And although they don't know it just yet, Imperial full control over long and absolutely no problem with that as well. You can even see this T side is waiting for North to maybe flash in and go for a bit of a control play. Crystal playing anti-flash, Esperanto just baiting on the corner of the dumpster. And North waiting for a short hit that just doesn't look like it's going to come through.
What's nice, though, is that, of course, even if that short hit doesn't come through from the T's, they will maintain that map control because the Opera of Nuki has moved into long. So the game plan here from Imperial is quite clearly to just push up long, get themselves to that A-bomb site, and allow for Tensky to try and find some kind of an impact. But now with him down, it's the entirety of Imperial primed for this push. And they have no cat control, nobody mid. For all they know, they're being flanked. That's not the case, so they will all commit there, trying to push the bomb across, but Mertz looks to lock the line. And he does skewer Crystal. Esperanto clears the site, and now Mertz has to be reserved.
We need Esperanto to bail them out again. Imperial in a tough spot here. They need to get the bomb on the site. 20 seconds left. North already getting into position as Valde is right below the elevator, and Esperanto dives out of there while he can. Nuki watching the flank that's not coming through, and Esperanto tries to force a peek, but they've spotted nothing. Imperial have no idea where North are retaking from, so fear is going to be set into the minds. One man on the shot, and Valde seen in the spawn, but he wins his duel, and the trade comes right back in with the orb. Nuki with a flick, and he may just be saving the day, and it's Nexa to clean up house. Imperial, a sick T-side to start off this map with a 7-1 lead, and again, North cashes out the window, 3,500 in the pocket. They've got to throw in a pistol by.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have the footing to hold that bomb site, but it was just a couple of kills that created a small enough opening for Imperial to plant that bomb. Wow. And once the retake's on, you know, a flank would have killed them. Not only do you have a player completely exposed on A ramp, but even Nuki, your Opera, is tagged up to sub 20 HP, hiding behind the car. He's cowering, and still, he manages to find impact towards the end. Great trade frag, hot flip fingers, and now, of course, the result of that is just desperate pistols from North. They will spread their numbers thin, try to make contact from Cat, leave a player close door on both middle and long.
Just got to be careful with this mid stack right now. Even though the damage has been done to many players of North, they have a lot of pistols here and a lot of crossfires available. Crystal with one, trade right back through the door from the Deagle of Kierby, but as long as Imperial hold on to that rifle, it shouldn't be the biggest of problems just yet. Again, Nexus still sat on long. It does catch that aggressive push from MSL, and bit by bit, North start to trickle down. As you would expect, given they are only on pistols this round, but any damage they do get would be nice. And KRB's looking for exactly that towards short. Imperial just holding on, because they know North are trying to force kills here. They know North want to at least try and equalize the situation and retrieve some rifles off the bodies of the dead Imperial player. Valde trying to get a frag on the top of the box. He does, and falls off. Is there time for the reload? It's a no. Nuki rounds the corner, knowing he's out of ammo, and therefore finding the frag. 2 members now left for North, and they're already smoked out of the site.
But that AK is coming in quick. There it is, Nexa. Blindsided from behind, bomb in the site. Will try to go for the plant, and I don't think Mertz really has the HP to try and risk his life. Let Kierby get into position behind you, and then attempt to make the play. Now that plant is scary. It does give cover from Nuki's gaze over towards the tunnels. Nice boost. Fantastic boost. This falls onto Nuki now. 2 players to walk on in, and 2 players to go down. He grabs the op, and the pistol's just not enough for North. Valiant effort, impactful round, but impact's not enough, Hugo. They need wins.
Yeah, when you're 8-1 down, like that round is so awkward for North, because if you're in a close game, right, where you're trading rounds back and forth and you have pistols and get 4 kills, it's great, because you know, okay, we're close to resetting them, couple buy rounds in a row, and they'll be on pistols. Imperial have so much money. They can lose 5 players. If they win the round, they don't care. They're going to be the ones sitting in the hot seat, and now North sitting in the hot seat on long. Molotov down, they try and push through the smoke and to their grave, potentially. Crystal falls back as Mertz gets tagged by the flame, and this triple setup on long has left mid open. This is given an opportunity to Imperial with the smoke in the CT spawn as they work their way into middle. Yes, North had the crossfire from the door to the CT, but with the smoke down, Kierby needs to get into position to support.
Nobody from tunnels can try and pressure North, though, from the other side. Eventually, you do see a man working that way. It's Nuki with the op. Things have gotten a little stagnant here towards the bottom of mid, but that's fine, because Esperanto wants to catch him by surprise. And Kierby's safe, thanks to Mertz. A shot over the shoulder, and immediately the bomb peels itself back so slightly. Now, Long A is perfectly in the pocket of North. It's Catwalk that becomes in question, and Crystal needs to somehow get past the scope of Mertz's AWP.
Still pushing mid though. Imperial still trying to put up the pressure and find this trade, but Kierby does not allow it. He falls back. Tensky and Crystal both finding kills though, and Mertz dead on long with the AWP. We now rely on MSL to draw back and try and save the day, but Imperial instead go back towards the B side. 1 man in position. The flick miss from Nuki leaves just 1 left. Tensky in a 1v3, and he just can't step up to the mark. Valde with a double, and North another buy round on the board. They're not letting this one go easily.
No, most definitely not. And that round does come down to things just slowing down, really, right?
Yeah.
We've got that mid control, which we have seen Imperial try to exploit often. It comes to a bit of a halt. And based on that, they're able to turn things around. It gets a little awkward, right? They're not able to find their footing. They're not able to just go running outwards. Right now, we've got ourselves a clash of the Oppers. Mertz catching Tensky. And well, Nuki, he's been mid. He hasn't found anything on the cross, but a great flashbang opens the door for Nexa, who will equal things out. Now, same position, same hot spot. Again, they're out here towards middle, and they're anticipating the window peek, but look at Kierby over the box. Again, just working these awkward angles, and Volta's going to do a great job of holding the line. Round 2, Kierby with another. It falls on Crystal all alone, nearly catching this B-site player, but with no bomb, teammates, or much health to work with, Hugo, things are looking dire.
Does have time at the very least. The one factor on his side, but as soon as he makes contact in mid, North have the perfect double setup for this. Pre-fire comes in, but it's a quick trade from Kierby to keep things in check. 3 frags in middle, and fantastic impact from Kierby so far this half. If we keep seeing Imperial challenge toward middle, Kierby is going to continue shutting them down. Look at these angles. Really nice as you put it, just kind of getting in the face of Imperial. Now, Still continued buys coming through for the T side. They have money to fall back on, as we said.
I mean, if there is one thing that was simplified when Dust 2 was changed, right? Despite the changes being minimal, it's much easier to move around on those boxes now. That's been very, very, straightforward. There's not much to try and work your way around. It's not as awkward. You don't get caught up on edges. So, excellently done. KRB is just using the verticality of the box, the element of surprise, and of course Volta can hold off on windows. So players starting to feel a bit more comfortable with mid. North starting to bail themselves out of what was a deepening hole. Still a gap between these lineups. 8-3, 5-point lead, and someone snuck into the lower tunnels. Look at this. Mertz down there with an MP9. Tensky, of course, still manages to win out on the duel despite being tagged so low, but AZ to the top of mid knows he's doomed. Players behind and ahead. He needed impact. He picks up one kill, can't find another, and Esperanto punishes an additional peek, but MSL catching one off guard will keep this thing only one man ahead.
And with Tensky low as well, it's not like Imperial have a huge advantage in this spot. With the fact that they all group up towards short gives North the ability to push up and get aggressive in their own right. Valdi does exactly that. MSL spotted on the site, but a Molotov to slow things down. 2 come back in response. He's got a wide peak. Somehow they let him out. The Molotov of his own burns Imperial back, so they can't contest it and they can't get the frag. As they try and isolate the 1v1, the flanks coming through for Valdi. They may not expect this, but Esperanto on the angle loses the duel, and Valdi given another opportunity as he falls back down into middle. Tensky can't afford to overextend because he's down to 10 HP himself, and Yuki must force this kill. But a back off from the player in middle will keep North in check. 2v2, and they're unable to chase down Valdi. North done a really good job of getting back into this round.
They've bailed one out, leaving things even keel. Now MSL surely would feel split here, and he's got a nasty off angle versus Nuki, but the flashbang forces the movement of the crosshair. Now they have gotten themselves closer to that A site, and more importantly, Bomb continued to work its way up Cat, so there is no cross for Volta to try and punish here. He needs to retake if he even wants this round. There's no shame in falling off, and that's exactly what he'll do.
Yeah, open bomb plant. They knew a man was on long because of that kill that came through earlier on MSL. He knows he can't win that round, so Valdi falls back. Does try and save for a rainy day, but look at the money of North here. So 2 rounds in a row, a bit of cash to play with on a couple of players. They certainly will buy round this one rifle, but it's not a lot, Conor. Imperial gaming the money system here with the couple of UMPs into this round, but still the AWP. They're not going to be able to save it, but a 9th round will certainly be more than they bargained for in this half. Showing that, hey, we can change our IGL a week before the tournament, but we can still rival up against some of the best here, even though there are asterisks on North's performance recently.
Change leadership, change strategy and tactics. You're not changing the fact that these guys can frag.
Yeah.
They hit hard and they hit fast as well, right? We've seen them play with that quicker tempo. The rounds that they've actually lost do come off of North maintaining the CT mid control. But if that mid control isn't being used as a box-in versus Imperial, then North seem to be taken aback. In fact, there's no one to lock down Cat. It's Crystal already just stampeding his way inwards. He's able to find Mertz on the angle without his op, and the flashbang's gonna keep those players towards long slightly blinded and distracted. Bomb not here. It is all the way down Suicide. This is simply a frag hunt, a frag fest as well as it's been. Tensky nearly lining up 2, but the flashbang bails them out, and it will be North with a man advantage.
They knew KRB was in the CT spawn as well. They heard him drop, so information for Imperial, but they still get out-timed by the utility. Keeping North in this man advantage as Imperial start to suffocate the A bomb site. The short plant coming through, and North looking to contest while a man has the bomb in his hands. That will be MSL pushing up, but traded straight back as KRB keeps it in check, and Crystal follows up with more. It's even Stevens right now, and Crystal on the site putting up more and more damage by the second. He needs to win this round. It's KRB looking for the 3K and a 1v1, but Esperanto full HP. Swapped out to the AK and a smoke to try and cover his path. He crosses back round. No kit to play with, but he's spotted on top of the smoke, and Esperanto going to win the duel. Imperial, double digits in the first half. And we're not even done yet, Conor. They could get a 12-3 here with the money of North being back down to shambles.
Yeah, there's no sign to show that Imperial aren't just going to continue with this momentum. Crystal even bailing players out here with the 2K. AK headshots aplenty. Good read by Esperanto with the smoke as well. Yeah. I did like that attempt to use the car in order to look over the top of smoke into the bomb site, try and figure out where exactly the man was at. But he's punished for his attempts, and Imperial will take another pause. Smooth things over. figure things out.
Yeah, and I like it when teams pull out pauses, even after being on a big streak of rounds. If you've got something to fix and something to at least ensure the fact that you get this 12-3 half, that's almost the game in and of itself, right? You take 12-3, you win pistol. North are going to have a near impossible time of pulling that game back. So Imperial not wanting to let it go in the last couple of the half, sorry. Although I don't think they'll have too many troubles with this one. It is a full eco. North with just a PP50 and USPs. And a Mach 10 for Esperanto as he wants to rack up some money, but not just that, just wants the speed and momentum onto the site. He will go down, but luckily enough, his teammates with rifles will be able to pick up the pieces. North just getting flattened here on A as Valdi is the last man up within seconds. While he does win a trade, he should probably just go and save that gun. This round, still pretty unwinnable.
Keep it simple and keep it straightforward. Cap push, Mach 10 leads the charge. And like you said, even though he wasn't successful in mopping up the cash, the AKs have his back, and Imperial are good to go. I mean, North, this was a reserved decision in order to just try and fight for 4 rounds. And while, of course, I do anticipate North switching to the T side might unlock some of their players' potential, might allow for them to set the tempo, take the engagements on their own terms, and start kind of curbing this enthusiasm from Imperial, they won't even have a gun to work with saved from this round. It'll have to be the full buy from North. They'll put everything on the line in the 15th as they fight for a 4th. It is minimal from North.
And again, this has all started off the back of North winning the pistol, but losing to that second round force. Fallen apart since then. So even with a pistol and no conversions, they're only at 3 rounds as they go in for the full buy on the last of the half. No kits as well. Imperial have been doing a pretty good job of these fast contact B plays, and they'll try that again. Valdi back turn, but avoids the flashbang. Will he expect the position? Esperanto certainly does. AZ with a spray onto 1, but it's again Esperanto, the man to double down. Imperial with control over the site, and the Molotovs are on 40 CTs out. Mikierby takes the fight, only to get dropped by the Lithuanian himself. 2 players left for North, and Imperial on the border of 12 rounds on the half.
It's 3 kills for Esperanto right now, and the bomb plant on top of it. Huge impact in this one. Now it's just a matter of locking down the bomb site as North will have to attempt one final retake, and already things going south and sour. Mertz full HP, 4 targets ahead, and he is dead. Crystal removes his head. There we have it.
And again, like coming into this game, the question marks on Crystal in terms of leading, in terms of individual performance. Certainly, we always saw him on at least Penta as one of the bottom performers. Similar story on Sprout as well. He's having a sick game. 12 and 9, I think he was at the half. Just constant impact frags. Really good job of locking down those mid rotations as well with Nuki on that AWP. And Imperial just having a pretty easy game so far.
I mean, again, right, if you're going to take a new in-game leader and give them 2 weeks to prepare for an event, then ending up on Dust 2 is definitely, I would argue, helping them, right? Yeah. He seems to understand how to unlock this player's potential. Everybody seems to be in the right position, right? Nuki's AWP presence mid was huge. Esperanto, every time it's coming down to B bomb site entries, has just rocked and rolled into the bomb site. And when things get a little shaky, a little dodgy, no one on Imperial seems like a weaker link. If even Crystal's stepping up in terms of frags, then everything's going well here for this lineup.
And one of the scary things is this was a bit of a narrative we had in the previous matchup between Gambit and Torqued, right? If you're Gambit, you don't want to touch Dust 2. You may have done your prep on it. North may be prepared on this map to some extent, but when you're coming up against an underdog like this is what can happen on a new map. If you're not prepared, Imperial can just run over you the same way that we may have seen Torqued do the same. But let's see if North can pull it back. They'll need the pistol round to do so, and Imperial, 4 players on the A site here, all up on short apart from Crystal, who gets instantly wrecked, but the information is gained and the players are spotted. North trying to sandwich his A site as they start to push their way up, and AZ will find his second. Already entries coming in for North, and Imperial not being able to put up too much of a resistance. As I say that though, more kills coming through, but still a 1v3.
Yeah, Tensky all alone here. No kit currently on him. You thought maybe Nuki could slip a couple kills through, seeing as he did have those angles covered from the back of the boxes, but everybody else died around him so quickly, only Esperanto picking up a kill of his own. And so Tensky will try his hand at a 1 versus 3. The T's have got this one locked down, not only with a player on the bomb site, but Mertz and MSL able to combine. It's a pistol at least here, Hugo, but it is a long road ahead.
And again, they won the last pistol and still got reset in the second round by the force buy, so they just need to make sure that doesn't happen, and we could see North off to a bit of a hot streak here. The game is not over yet. They have the buy to contend as well, playing very safe with a lot of rifles, not wanting to pull in, Mac 10s or too many UMPs. That could definitely be a risk up against a second round force. But it's not CZs here for Imperial. They want range. Deagles on all 5, which is definitely good considering the weaponry North have. With all these rifles, North wanting to take range engagements themselves. So Imperial with essentially the counter to this. Esperanto in middle, going to be shut down early on. Tensky tries to peek back in for the quick trade, but he's unable to find the angle. Still aggression coming out from Imperial, and unsuspecting on short is Mertz, who will go down to the Deagle, overrun by Imperial. They've got some mid-control at the very least, but still these rifles begin to reign supreme. More shots hit, and Kierby going to try and lock this down from the lower tunnels. He will do exactly that. It's only Tensky left, and North, pretty clean second round.
Yeah, things do get scary, though. You've got the majority of North all bottled into the bottom of mid. And in an instance, you had immediately everybody from Imperial just gunning down Catwalk, right? They wanted to commit to those fights. They wanted to win or lose the round right then and there. And obviously the result is North bailed themselves out of a tricky situation and will be gifted USPs here in the 18th round. A single deagle for Mertz, kind of a liability, but he'll sit back, relax, and allow his teammates to work their way up long.
And that they will do without too much contesting from Imperial. A player spotted on the site, and a couple of flashbangs to burst them through CT here. I imagine that's what they're for on Crystal. Pop them out, try and get aggressive, but Valdi are going to be running back, and the nade does land from AZ. So first kill for North. Some of the already low pressure of this round removed. It would be a miracle if Imperial could find anything, really. And they do group up towards middle, so they have the potential to trade, but at the same time, it's also the potential for spray down, and Kierby finds exactly that.
I mean, we had the odds, the live odds come up in that round as well, right? 1.14 odds for Imperial right now. So people feeling as though these guys will close things out, but don't forget what happened in our first map. 10-5 lead for Torque turned around by what you would have argued the favorites. Same can happen here. Again, we're switching to the T side of Dust 2. New in-game leader of Crystal will be challenged to call rotations, timings, potentially pushes. I fear that if Imperial get a little too safe, if they start playing reserved and conditioned as opposed to aggressive and actively, things could get rough. They won't have an op here in this one, because Mertz is equipped with the cannon. And because of that lack of op, there's no presence being pushed up towards middle. It's gifted to North. The Danes take it for free. Nuki dodging a flash, now has Nexa come back to help him, and Nuki lingers on. Maybe a little too much. MSL punishes his peaks, and it's a 4v4 yet again.
And that favors North as well. 4v4 on Dust 2 is so good. Imperial are going to have to be really split up now. They do commit to 2 on B, which is a bad call to make given the current setup from North, because the bomb is wrapping back through long as Valdi tries to cut off these rotations from middle. Imperial unsuspecting right now where North are committing, but flashbangs beginning to come out at the end of long should give away some information. Crystal tries to get the wallbang in middle, but he's got to watch his backline because no one's spotting long. North have got all this control, and MSL's already going up the ramp. Valdi catches one in the meantime, and next time he needs to step up, but one is not enough. There's still a man down, but with damage done and no utility left for North, Imperial will have a shot in this round. And
especially now that Tensky wins the duel towards mid. Crystal's already close enough to the bomb site. He hears the planter and the shots. He knows where they're both at, and it's a great flash. MSL blind can't get this kill, but Tensky has to clutch, and he does. Imperial back to the board. They manage the retake here on A, and they'll find another round.
And that's so awkward for North, right? Because they win that and they really start to get back on the board. Not only do they build up money, which gives them a chance to fall back on it eventually when we see Imperial starting winning rounds, but also, you start to crush Imperial, bring, maybe 5-6 rounds in a row. We're going to lose some motivation here for this current CT team. But not today. Tensky comes back in with a clutch, and Imperial is still in this one with a good lead. North, of course, going to buy up after that round. The bomb plant assisting that as well. So money shouldn't be too much of a problem here for the Danes, but the scoreline certainly is.
And coming into this game, I noted Mertz, right, for the T side of Dust 2. I wanted to see his opping be prevalent.
What was that?
A present. Mertz putting on a show as he pops Esperanto on the cross. But in the, bigger picture, it has still been Nuki with more consistent opping. It does help that North then translate into that fast B. The transition works out because they did cover the cross. And a 5 versus 3 turned into a save here. Imperial give it up.
And look how much lurk presence North still have. Couple of players in middle and lower tunnels looked like they were going to try and catch those B rotators as Imperial left the site. But North rather just settle back, hold on to the round, keep the guarantee. And now that they know that Imperial are at least falling back and trying to hold on to their weapons, now they will start to push up. Because they know, given 3 weapons saved from Imperial, if they can remove 1 or 2 more, there's no way we can see the CT side have a decent buy in the upcoming round. And that just furthers North's chances to get back into this game. Valde hunting a little bit on the site, but doesn't want to overextend. His teammates in the T-spawn trying to catch anyone there from Imperial, but instead they save down on long. Fairly split positions, but not going to be challenged here by North, so a 7th round to the Danish side keeps them in this. Imperial certainly going to continue to buy up and look for this counter reset, if in which case they do find North is going to be in a very tough spot here.
Yep, most certainly. Most certainly, but they themselves have economic woes ahead. Nice flick.
Wow.
Straight to the head, Esperanto dead in an instant. See if he can do it again. Ho, ho, ho. Too close for comfort, but the man makes it across. And that, of course, will spread things a little thin. Esperanto alone on 1 of 2 pistols. Tensky being the second, awaits his fate at B. But Valde, he's willing to wait a little. Kierby losing half of his health now to a Molotov. That's a softened target to take. But does Esperanto have the balls to strike here in middle? You know he wants to.
Right. Apparently not, though. It's not quite FPL. He'll fall back. Safe decision to make, though. Imperial don't need to make contact just yet. Kierby going to look to mid. Alas finds nothing. Imperial with this contact AWP up on short as well, so if North do go for this A-split, which looks to be the case with 1 man up through long, this could be good. Mertz does drop Esperanto again, though, and Kierby, big entry, dropping the AWP at the CT side, and now North are in full control of this round. No need to commit just yet, but look at the man walking into B. That's Valde. That should signal the end of the round. He gets the entry. He gets control of the site. Imperial, both players on A right now. They've lost it. And now this is where North hunt. This is where North try and take away guns, the CTs.
Yep. With such a lead for Imperial already, North need to start to assert themselves. And that was just everything that could have gone well for North this round did, right? We do see Mertz find Esperanto through middle doors again this round. Immediately afterwards, we see Kierby bail his teammate out of what could have been the op casualty towards Cat. And then the third layer to the execution comes in with Valde's perfect patience inside tunnels. Dropping Tensky as he looked for anything, a kill, information, a tidbit, but nothing comes of it. And as you said, here it is, the hunt is on. Next up, fighting for his life, nearly lines up a couple kills, but it's Crystal to the op, desperately trying to tuck tail, and he does have an exit. Or he could hide.
Oh, don't hit that, please.
He makes it.
Pressure is on, but Crystal survives.
That was a clenching moment.
Yeah. Well, North, back into this game at least. The 12-3 half has not stopped anything. And you said it yourself, Conor. It's the T side where we expect North to show up individually, and that's certainly been the case. Kierby, who was doing very well in the first half, has continued that performance, and Mertz as well. 2 rounds in a row, shutting down Esperanto in middle. If you can consistently do that, if you can consistently take down arguably the best player on the other team down through mid, you're going to have a great time, and North are certainly looking to do so in this round, because Imperial, extreme limitations, just that saved AWP, and a bit of armor on Nexa. Flash in middle. Esperanto waiting close, but again, not a lot to work with in response. North won't find out his position just yet, but the Molotov should force him out into the open. That will give them the kill. MSL burns him to a crisp. Well, Crystal just sat on B here. Not going to be pressured just yet. North is slowing down, and they have given up long, so does hint towards this late round B execute, meaning Crystal does have an opportunity, but having 1 AWP up against 5 riflers, easier said than done.
Although he's still in a position to succeed here because they are isolating the B site. Unfortunately, tunnels could be susceptible, but look at Crystal go. He's already got himself 2. Now he's going to need to do this entire round on his own, and MSL has had enough. Clears him from the back of the bomb site, swaps to the op as the bomb goes down, and he will look to punish any kind of push that would remain from Imperial. And sure enough, here it comes. MSL giving a bit of a chance to Nuki, but the second shot is good, and he will cover those weapons as Nexa holds off.
The flashing has been so good for North, can I just say. Their pop flashes, their team play in that sense have just been perfect. The amount of close corners that Imperial have been blinded on both the CT and T side. Let's look towards mid. Even though North are losing the rounds, a lot of the times Kirby was getting great shots down through middle, great shots with flashbangs coming through from his teammates on the A and B site. Team play for North definitely looking fantastic, but is it enough to drag the comeback all the way? So far, that is the case. A 9-13 scoreline as Imperial put together their money once again, but it's not the best of buys. No AWP, and limitations ensue as Tensky's down on an MP9. Imperial have to give up A long control, and North instantly take the initiative. Pit is under their hand, and Imperial just playing heavily towards short, as we have seen both teams do on the CT side so far this map. Bomb rotating through the spawn for North, so maybe a bit of a B play in order.
It's going to be another slow one, though, right? They're trying to squeeze Imperial here. They want them to make a move to open some kind of a mistake. But for now, that's not going to happen. They've got that close cap presence, so they could quickly chase anybody back through tunnels. And Mertz will be tasked with an attempt to open B. Remember, it's Tensky first contact up and above. Player floating around the window could walk unsuspectingly into this scope, but it's going to be a train of T's walking in, and they don't Tensky. No, he drops down. He's able to get himself a second as he swaps to the USP. It's done. Volta, Mertz combined. They clear it. Nexa catches MSL, so they'll have a man advantage. They desperately want the plant, but can they lock this down?
Imperial could just push right in. They heard the bomb pong go down, but instead they're going to wait, group and allow Crystal to get in position. The smoke begins to fade, and this is when contact should be made by Imperial. They begin the push. Flash out for Mertz, caught with his pants down, and it's just Valdi in a 1v3, finds the first two, but it's not enough. Nexa will save it here for Imperial. And 14 rounds, North seeming maybe like they're only delaying the inevitable. Imperial is still in control of this one. But again, it comes down close, Conor. So it's not like Imperial have stacks of cash to fall back on. They already had an MP9 in the previous round, and while that found 2 kills, that's not always going to be the case with these limited SMGs.
Yeah, definitely not. And it's nice that you bring up, you know, this inevitable delay, because that round was made on delays. You had the T side just holding off inside of tunnels, trying to play timing. Counter-terrorists not getting overly curious anywhere on the map. Those initial kills delay the bomb plant for North, and then the retake is delayed until that third player is in position towards tunnels. So everybody just plays it cool. They collect themselves on multiple fronts and move in for the retake. Awesome attempt from Volta, though. Just can't find himself the third, understandably. And so North need to take a pause. They'll have one left after this, having used 2 in the first 8 rounds.
Yeah. Good resilience at the very least to be able to actually pull this back to a realistic scoreline, but it's still so close, and too close for comfort. We need another mid-pick here from Mertz, but it won't come through. Bit of damage to Tensky on the cross at the very least. Hits a leg through the wall, but in the meantime, Kirby, he just bursts through long. The contact plays on both halves as North do exactly the same, and they will take down Nexa early. The AWP of the CT as Nuki begins to push up, looking to try and find a trade through middle, which North are kind of leaving empty here, only Valdi in position. In the meantime, though, with the bomb working its way up through long, Imperial have got to be very, very aware of that, and in fact they are. The AWP moves back just to make sure. You don't want North just finding their way up towards Car with Imperial having no information, so after leaving a bit of a lapse in checking the spot, they go back. Mertz flicks onto Nuki to try and find another kill. Imperial just down and out with this round already.
Fast fingers on this guy. But oh no, MSL after killing Crystal burns to a crisp. Unfortunately for Imperial, it is just Esperanto, and he's already afforded the cross from Mertz, who's now posted up on this angle, but not exactly sure as to where he's at, so Mertz is still susceptible here, and sure enough, he's down. Esperanto will deal some damage, but he's very heavily flanked here. There's not only a player waiting on middle doors, but there's also one back towards B, so good night, Esperanto. You are done for. Double digits now from North, and a very real chance at sailing forward here. They've got the cash, their opponent's strapped, and Imperial unable to hold back the Danes.
Yeah, we need a full eco here, realistically, to come through for the side of Imperial. They have not got money to play with. Third round loss bonus can come through, and yeah, they save $1,000 and a bit dollars each. Really not a lot of money. Tensky's down on 1,200, so that may impact the buy coming forward for Imperial. They may have to go for another standard eco after this. North already out long. Valdi's found the opener, and the Molotov will play a caught in the corner. He could not survive for too much longer. Valdi commits to the spray, and MSL has his back covered. So North, again, another round on the board, it seems. Tensky even shot on the cross there, so nothing's looking good right now for Imperial in this eco. Not able to put out any damage to the pistols. It's nice to see North just committing towards long, knowing they can take the ranged duels that Imperial cannot withstand with P250s. And here's the awkward money spot. I'd actually like to see how Imperial approach this. Like, pistols and armor would be the best decision to make, considering we had not over-investments, but just not enough money in the previous.
It's wild as well, right, to think, like, why would North ever let Dust 2 come through? But if they're confident in their T side like this, then I can understand why, right?
Yeah.
You see that confidence just spilling over here. The success on these wall bangs, too, here from Mertz, like, he has been heavily impactful towards middle. And although Nuki will now kind of slip his way up through Cat, he's still punished. Mertz one step ahead. Esperanto next, and he's successful, but traded back by who else? The Opper Mertz. It's a 4v2, and it's just North going through the motions as they look to cut this lead down to 3.
What a ridiculous comeback this would be. Imperial have to be very, very careful when it comes forward to the next buy, but for now I don't expect too much more. Crystal, the only man with health to work with, is getting bypassed on short. It's North looking to split this B site. That kill may certainly alleviate some of the pressure as well. Crystal even caught on that rotate from short, so North having all their angles locked down, having all their flanks covered, and having a 12th round on the board here, only 2 behind that of Imperial, who dominated the T side. And the man on your screen right now, Mertz, been of huge impact, as you said, consistently tagging Tensky through the mid doors. No matter what Imperial try and do, however late they cross, no matter how many smokes, it seems like Mertz is always there in position. This time, different story, but is that a late peek from Nuki? It seems to be the case. Mertz spots him through the wall, but he won't be able to get the tag. In the meantime, North take quick tunnels control as well, and Imperial have heavy setup towards middle here because they know that North have been pressuring this part of the map.
And it makes sense, right? You have Mertz covering the back of CT-sided mid, but these double operas are just waiting for the push through doors. So they're using angles where Mertz isn't able to get an engagement. Mertz can't find an op duel, and instead they've put themselves in a strong defensive state to hold back the actual flood forward. Now, unfortunately for Imperial, that setup is not rewarded with a push, and North have redirected themselves towards Catwalk instead.
But so is Nuki. He's repositioned up on the site. So if North do commit here, well, I'm sure barrages of utility will come through considering how much they currently have. He's in a position to get some work done, certainly. No long split to come through, but Imperial hold 2 players there, so the retake is certainly going to be doable, assuming Nuki can at least get 1 kill from this position. That's all he really needs. And North setting up for smokes over the top, the full execute to come through. Do they drop to the CT spawn? It seems to be the case. 1 man already down low. Nuki not going to get anything done. It's Mertz again to open up as the A-site crumbles.
Crystal holds off something, but of course there's that AWP still towards site and the bomb plant on top of it. It's for Catwalk 2, where AZ will look to lock down middle. These CTs coming back into the top of mid. AZ might actually get distracted by bottom mid and fall to this player here, but no, he strikes by surprise. They know where he's at and the trade's good. It's a 3v3 and Volta will take back the advantage. MSL now can creep towards Cat if he so pleases. But Esperanto wants to bail. He wants to just leave Hugo, but there is no leaving here. He is down for the count, and again, it is North to the board.
Such good trading as well. Every single position they seem to have accounted for. These afterplants are good. You have AZ not only locking down the short rotate, but also Valdi pushing up the second AZ gets caught after that push up through mid. Just seems like North have every situation accounted for on this T side, especially especially in those post plants. And now Imperial have to give away another round and another tag through the door. Mertz, 2 shots, and both of them connecting. Esperanto's dead. And he didn't even see a player.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. Second shot connects. Esperanto down for the count. And it's just insult to injury. Sand in the wounds. And Mertz, well, he's going to be tested up close. He can't handle that push. Nuki's going to upgrade himself to an op, and we know it's capable in his hands too. So North, they want nothing to do with that gun, and instead put the pedal to the metal as they flood into the A site. The Molotov will protect any kind of a peek. They've got this in the bag in terms of the plant, but can they hold on after the fact?
Warp tag to middle, but Valdi still stays alive. Tensky's not able to finish off the job, and Nexa, same story. Valdi finding 2 kills on just 20 points of health as Nuki He wants to save this AWP, but I'd be surprised if North even consider letting him do that. They can afford to give it away, and they start to chase down as the money is good for them, but Nuki is going to hit 2 quick shots in quick succession. Back to the T-spawn, but that's exactly where Valdi is, looking to wind up on the 3rd, and he does exactly that. North, 14-14. They retrieve the stolen AWP back. Now the question is, do Imperial even have the money for an AWP of their own? Because rivaling with that of Mertz is not seeming to be an easy job. What can you do against that? Tell me.
Nothing. Just hide. just don't go anywhere near mid. Mertz looking to do it again.
God.
Oh, poor Esperanto.
The thing is, North are never playing fast B plays off the back of these tags, so I'm surprised Imperial are so pressured to go for these quick mid crosses. Either way, fast on long, Nexa with a 1-for-1. Kierby going to pull it back, and still a man stuck on the car. He needs to get out of this position. So easy to molly and catch a player up on this spot. Flashes come through, and the smokes to at least cover Nexus cross, but he fakes it. He stays in the corner. The question is, do North know, or do they think he's backed off? Because they don't have full information. Kierby spots Nuki, and maybe, just maybe, he thinks that's Nexus' position.
Yeah, that could very well be, right? You see a player bail. Although for the T's, they do still have Molotovs, and we've seen them molly out this corner prior, right? Then somebody commits to the spray down as this player has to flood out. So yeah, he's doomed. There it is. A key piece to the long A push from North. And this is going to leave Imperial down by 1. Tensky, well, he's just very cautious about his positioning. He doesn't want to be exposed to middle, doesn't want to die towards long. And is it going to be Nuki to get curious here? He is walking up. He's clearing his corners, and he may have seen the trajectory for the nade, but that puts him on full display. Volta catches him and then doubles down. Tensky taken out, and Esperanto isolated at the B site as bomb pushes its way up long. This is it. North secure OT, unless Esperanto goes huge, and he doesn't want to fight Hugo. He just wants his gun.
A 12-3 half for Imperial, and now look where we are. North back in control. I never would have seen this one coming.
Listen, not much changed on Dust 2. I can tell you it's still T-sided.
Yeah, that looks to be the case. Valdi has 33 kills here.
Wild.
In not even 30 rounds. And let's look at this team, right? It's been AZ that's been the one to bail North out of numerous situations in the past few weeks or months, at least, with this team struggling. AZ's bottom, and Valdi's just destroying. We don't even need AZ. Yeah. North are just tearing Imperial apart. Individually,
again, like, it's this T side that has certainly unlocked North, right? Their hands were almost tied when they were playing the defense because they were at the will of Imperial, who are a capable team, right? Who are good at entry fragging and straightforward kills, but all of a sudden you have to defend versus some of Denmark's best. And, well, it's not quite going your way.
Yeah, again, especially with all the question marks coming into this event with North going, okay, are they going to just bomb out like we expect them to? The recent performance has been so skew-if considering the potential. There's something Blair was talking about the desk. The potential this roster has is insane. Individually, these players are incredible, but it's the team that they have not seemed to be able to at least form or show good form on these top events. Well, now, clearly things are looking better. Great individual performance, great team play. We've talked already about the tradability of North's positioning on this T side and some fantastic flashbangs as well to get them a lot of man advantages. Imperial pulling in another pause here at 15-14. As the buy comes through, they want to work out exactly how to approach this. And let's think about this. Imperial have never been aggressive on the CT side in early round, right? It's only been already a man disadvantages where they try and turn the tide and get caught out by aggressive positioning that it actually ever happens. And, full Fnatic, full PM. I love it.
But they're not going to get anything for this. In fact, now this long A push could have gotten something done had Kierby fallen. This is going to slow everything down. I mean, you mentioned, right, you're not seeing any kind of an aggression from Imperial on the CT side, but that's because they haven't been allowed to do anything. Your B cross constantly gets tagged up. Your mid duel is always being lost. Are you going to push up mid? Not with Mr. Mertz on the other side.
Yeah.
So what do? Push long A? Well, they've always had some kind of presence there. If anything, North have set up that initial A long setup and then walked back. So it's very difficult for Imperial to get much. When they do push up, it tends to be from Catwalk, and that's what they're going to use this round. Nuki getting a man advantage, a position we haven't seen Imperial in all too often, and this time, Hugo, he doesn't linger on Cat. He falls back immediately, and he tries to reposition here down towards middle, where he has another player with him. Esperanto, sure enough, is boosted up on boxes, and you can see the player towards B kind of floating towards window too. There's no reason for Imperial to go back on any kind of expedition. They will sit, they will wait, and they will try to hold on in order to force OT.
So one of the first rounds, we've actually had them with a man advantage as well on the CT side. It's constantly been North taking that mantle, so this is the best shot Imperial have had, and it's the most important round of the game, the one to secure overtime. Imperial tasked with holding on to this B play. Tensky, who's already been tagged for the cross of the auto sniper, he's going to have a big job ahead of him. Molotov in, and straight entries coming through for North. Double kill found from the T side. 3 players left up for Imperial, already begun their rotations, but Conor, there's no utility left for this retake. They may have a kit on Crystal, but North have locked down this bomb site. A Molotov still on MSL, and a man advantage held on by the Danish side. Imperial, it's all against them.
They've got middle control back for them. They're not going to be working tunnels just yet, but Nexa has a second thought. He checks it, and he wants to join up with his team. So 3 CTs pushing up towards door and window, trying to find an opening into the site, but every attempt is being shut down. One by one they fall, and it all falls onto Nexa. Time, his biggest issue. No kit, no teammates, no chance in hell. It is gone, and North make the comeback from a 12-3 half. They manage to hang on.
Maybe this is the event where we start to see North find form again. That map certainly alludes to something there. Pretty fantastic performance. Perla's smiling at me on the desk, and I don't blame him. North, how the hell do you pull that back?
With skill, raw skill.
Yeah.
That is something they maintain. Their firepower hasn't gone anywhere. It's the cohesion, it's the gelling of the lineup that we come to criticize. And yet, if you let them go toe-to-toe on Dust 2, Hugo, they'll manage that 12-3 comeback.
I want to see a lot more Dust 2 this event, but I have a feeling a lot of teams are going to be scared to face North on that exact map after that performance. And Imperial, again, we talked about how good they are individually. That is what this team is known for, stars.
Yeah.
And they're still not able to outclass North in not only individual fights, but also in team play. And again, obviously coming into this event with a stand-in IGL or a new IGL potentially, that's going to create problems. But after a 12-3 half, you've got to assume sometimes that Imperial would have that game under lock.
It's the turnaround from Mertz. The least impactful player on the CT side. Never was he able to manage mid-control with his op. Barely did he win any duels there. And yet you put him on the T side, and if he's not getting opening picks on mid, he's definitely softening up the B site and just making their woes that much worse. But that's enough from us. We'll throw this one over to Paul and the boys, and they'll unpack it for you.
Yeah, we'll unpack it like a early Christmas present. Now, the guys over there, Hugo and Scrawny, mentioned that the raw skill was what carried North over at the end and the resurgence of Mertz in that second half. But if it's only happening half of the match, is that enough to put you in contention for the title, Blair and Natu?
Yeah, I mean, if we want to go through the match, first half, obviously, Imperial was playing really, really well, but it was also down to North feeling, to me, really disjointed. I mean, they try to do a little different things, such as, you know, stacking up long early on, doing double peaks in middle. They had this weird push, one pushing up all the way up in middle, one going lower dark. Kind of things where they were not really, it felt to me like, you know, where are these coming from? There's so many little things like flash peaks and such that you can do. You can just walk up or tunnel, do all these kind of different plays and be aggressive, which you kind of have to with Dust 2 CT side. But it all kind of seemed like they were, I don't know, not on the same page. There were only just one round that I can think of where actually Imperial were the ones that gave the opportunity for North to do that, where they went through, Imperial went through double doors. They were a little hesitant. North actually pushed long in that one. They sent 3, a lot of nades came in, so it felt like Imperial was going to do the best call possible and just rush through middle doors, smoke CT spawn, and go to B, but instead they ended up just being in middle. And that's where you saw, I think it was Volta and Caribou were playing off each other really, really well. Caribou just kind of utilizing the smoke that he threw. He came through on top of the boxes, got some kills. Volta chimed in from B as well. That was like the only moment that I really saw that North was playing together really well. But other than that, they have a lot to work on when it comes to CT side. They're positive both teams, but you know, from a North perspective.
I mean, you got to say as well, right? Like if you look at the CT sides of both the teams, it was a very reactive CT side coming up from both North as well as from Imperial. But North, even though a couple of rounds they did fail, they at least tried to aggress a little bit, try to, you know, poke and prod and try to make something happen, which is what they needed. They won 16-14. That's a very close scoreline, right? And I think Conor was mentioning about how Mertz was very, very flashy. Like if you look here, he was hitting some very nutty flick shots with Dop. He was very instrumental on the T side. But Volta, we didn't really notice it, but he was a 30. He dropped a 30 bomb, 34 or 35, right? So
35,
every round he was getting like 1, 2 kills, 3 kills, and especially the T side, he was just like shutting down towards mid. Whenever Imperial were trying to go for an aggressive peek towards mid from A short, for example, Volta was always there, getting 2 kills, 3 kills every single time. So I think he was really instrumental in them kind of like mounting this comeback.
What can you guys tell me about Imperial's mistakes or what they could have done better, because maybe in one instance, because Crystal has just been added to the squad, he's barely had any time to practice. Could their lacking CT side be to do with the, failure to be as cohesive as possible, as we often see teams do when they're newly formed on the CT side?
They try to play it too safe, really. I really wanted to see them make plays. I feel like when you're 12-3 up, all they didn't really do was try and maybe gamble a little bit and have either emphasis in the middle heavily, play cat heavily, or play A long heavily. Because that gives you opportunities still to retake. Even if you're playing A long, you can still take over that A bomb side coming through A long and short. You just got to play it together, right? If you're banking on short, again, you can still definitely win that round. Even if you're banking middle, you can still rotate really, really quickly through Catwalk. So I felt like they were kind of too spread out and just trying to be playing kind of standard Counter-Strike. Whereas they had that massive lead. They were in the heads of North. Obviously, winning the pistol round was pivotal for the North side, but let's say if Imperial managed to pick up the first weapon round by having the right call, by stacking the right spot in the map, that could have instantaneously gone into the head of North, especially considering the situation that they're in right now as a team.
No, I completely agree. I think it's a standard trap for more inexperienced teams, so to speak, where you have a massive lead. Like a 12-3 lead is massive, right? So the early rounds in the second half is when you want to take some chances. Go for a gamble stack with an A bomb side, a B bomb side, pushing together even on the gun rounds. And I think they left that too late. So by the time North were mounting the comeback, I think there was like 10 rounds already. That's when Imperial, and I think it was affecting their minds. Like, all right, we don't have the rounds to work with. We really can't play gamble anymore. And just like now to mention, they were just playing too safe. And if you're going to playing so reactive, and the way Volta, Kirby, and Mertz as well, they were playing off each other on the T side. There was some pretty good stuff coming from North. Great trade game, and they were always ready for any late flanks that might be coming in from Imperial. Unfortunately, Imperial never had any of these late flanks. They were just saving guns all the time. There were barely any retakes taking place either.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for your thoughts. Usually now we'd speak to one of the players or the coaches from the winning team, but I think North have already exited, and they do, I think, need to take some time to reevaluate their approach, and hopefully we can see them come back maybe a bit stronger today. And of course, the same goes for Imperial, who couldn't hold on to that 12-3 lead after the first half. Anyway, we will be back shortly. Don't forget, by the way, if you would like to have more content from our DreamHack Open here in Tour for 2018, all you need to do is type into your browser dreamhack.com/digital pass, and that will give you access to Snipe, where you will find a multi-view experience, highlights, and exclusive bits and pieces. So go to that link and have some fun. Match number 3 will be coming right after the break, and we will see you then.